call myself a painter primarily, but I do kind of performance pieces, sculptural pieces. At the minute, I'm writing a piece that's going to be like a kind of like a comedy, I suppose. I'm a painter, but I don't really like to kind of pigeonhole myself too much. I didn't sit it formally at school, but it was kind of only later I decided to pursue fine art in university. But it was kind of, so I think it's kind of my late teens, early 20s, kind of decided that it was something I wanted to do. But I think it had always been in the background a little bit. I'm very inspired by politics. I'm very inspired by kind of social movements. I make very reactionary pieces, so if something's in the news, if something's happening, I'll often just go and find like a canvas or something and respond to it. Like this painting, up at the top painting, for example, it's just a kind of response piece to my idea of Belfast becoming an identikit kind of city. Like in peacetime's obviously great, but we now just have all the same shops as every other town, and we're kind of indistinguishable from Dublin, from Glasgow, from Bristol. Like all these like identikit cities have got no real soul. They're kind of passionless places. So I've always kind of seen as an artist, if you're not using that platform to challenge these things, like racism, like these horrible things that happen, then I think you're selling yourself and the practice short slightly. I don't think it's imperative that every piece of work you make has to be about it, but I think as an artist you have a voice and maybe a responsibility. I mean, I've definitely made works that are political and some quite confrontational probably, but I feel that I have to somehow, I think. Darth Vader. This was not painted in response to the Tory government, an idea of Darth Vader being the ultimate like evil person, and the badge he's wearing is actually the Conservative Party symbol. Quadrilla are one of the main fracking organisations, so it's just like the idea of him cozying up to these fracking organisations. I can't remember what the cap was about, to be honest. Yeah, again, and it's just a response piece to a painting that my nephew did. So he's 6 and he's really into Star Wars. So these are all the Star Wars characters. It's like basically took him as my lead, and then there's something really lovely about his like the innocence and just the fun of it. And then 30 years later, I've just got a really cynical. I still like to think my work's still quite playful and approachable, but it's just riddled with cynicism as well. So, and for this exhibition, exhibition's called Degrees of Separation, and I like the idea of playing with that idea. So that there's myself at 6, and there's him at the same age, and I like the idea that we're kind of just almost identical, playing with that. Lots of people, I think, with my work, although it's not, I don't think it's intentional. I think like they find it maybe a bit aggressive or a bit in your face. Like as soon as you include a swear word in a piece of work, people can be quite prudish, I think. And yet, I think there's other works that might even be more aggressive. I'm not sure, but yeah, so maybe shock, but also, when people get it, I think get the kind of gentle humour. I think they respond well generally. I think to it. I think the best thing about this exhibition is the space. To be honest, this is the old engine room from Portfree Trade Centre, and it's just like, I think this is the first time it's been open in 12 years. I might be wrong about the date, but it's more than 10 years certainly. And the space is incredible. The natural light in here is stunning, and I think it's really important. I mean, I'm from East Belfast originally, and I think it's really important that these things happen in this area. Like very little really happens on United Road, like events-wise. So it's good, and like in part of the East Side Arts Festival, there are lots of events, and it's great to see that kind of thing building, I guess. Like last year when we had open studios, we had loads of people coming from all over Ireland, like curators, other artists, which was good. But I was kind of really touched by locals in the street who kind of were aware that we were in here, but they're kind of going, oh, the artists, we can't go and talk to the fancy ass artists. Like, so it was good for them to come in and see the spaces and see. I think there's something really good about seeing artists at work. I think there's an assumption that it's like work's just finished and it's just magically happens somehow. So it's good to kind of see the work in progress, and it's good for the local community to see that. I set myself a target this year to kind of experiment ultimately. So this year I've made a short film, I've wrote a short play, and I kind of want to just keep challenging myself primarily because I've been painting for 10 years and I'm still going to keep painting. But I just kind of want to push myself and try different things. So like I am writing a comedy piece at the minute, but I just want to keep experimenting, I guess.